absolute cracker. Ronnie O'Sullivan against Jack Lisowski for a place in the last four. Let's hand over to our commentators for this one, Joe Johnson and Philip Studd. Evening, Philip.
Good evening, Andy. Well, somewhat later than advertised, but if there's ever a match worth waiting for, I think it's this one, isn't it? Jack Lisowski. We've spoken ad infinitum this week about his potential.
The first frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
It's a question of whether he can realise that huge promise, and he could scarcely have been playing a more formidable opponent tonight.
Well, there's the red sticking out. I'm sure Jack will be having a go at it. Played for the black as well. And if they start going in, he could be in for a cracking night. Great opening red. Because he played it so hard, the cue ball swung before it hit the reds. Played together many times in practice, and that will surely help him. Never played professionally. Good safety.
And that's the thing about Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's always been the full package. His astonishing break building ability and his potting and position has overshadowed the fact that he's an outstanding tactical player as well.
Yes, I've always liked Jack Lisowski's game. He's a very attacking player. I love watching him. But at some stage he's got to weigh up the shot to take on and refuse. Maybe he's learning that. Where's this one going? Right over the pocket. So another chance here for Jack. Very nearly got the pot.
One.
I'm not sure if I want to predict what shot Jack will be playing. But I'd like to be getting to that red near the black spot as soon as possible.
Seven.
Left it straight. That's a mistake. Well, if the pink goes, that's a little fortunate. Good pot, and nicely on the reds.
$13.
It could just be that Jack likes this stage.
14.
In front of everybody, playing one of the best players of all time. Could have done with being closer to the pink.
20.
Well, it was a good pot on the pink, but the kiss didn't go according to plan. This is a tough one. Good recovery, though.
Secret for Jack Lisowski this evening is to try and embrace the occasion,
27.
relish the challenge of taking on Ronnie O'Sullivan rather than be cowed, intimidated by it. And certainly in his pre-match interview he sounded as though he was genuinely excited about the prospect of belatedly facing the Rocket.
$28.
Well, if he's found the gap there, that was an exceptionally good positional shot.
34.
That could so easily have gone wrong.
35.
So a little screw off the two reds, he might be able to play on black or pink.
43.
Now this is where he's got to take care. He's got the game at his mercy. And this is where he just should take a few deep breaths.
49.
Make sure he doesn't miss an easy one.
50. $57. $58.
Just this pink then.
Yeah, what a great start this is for Jack Lisowski.
64. $65.
Started with a terrific long red that he dropped in dead weight. Finished nicely on the black. Then got another chance.
$70. $71.
He made no mistake this time round.
78. 79.
In the 9 minutes this frame has been underway, we've already seen
85.
the potential that we've been discussing all week.
86.
Such a natural player, an instinctive player.
And this is what he needs, Phil, isn't
93.
it? To show his talent on television. and put some fear into
94.
the rest of the players.
Well, if he could somehow get the better of the Rocket tonight, it could be the catalyst for his entire career. Century number 10 of the season, which is only one less than he made of the whole of the last campaign.
103.
There's no question he's picked up his game in the last couple of months or so.
$106.
This just his third ranking quarter-final since he turned pro 7 years back.
110.
And it's the start that he would have dreamed of before he walked out into the arena this evening.
115.
A little switch to right-handed.
121.
O'Sullivan knows how good Jack Lisowski is. And now the Barnsley crowd here at the Metrodome do as well. What a break that was. A clearance of 128. The perfect start for the big underdog this evening. O'Sullivan knows he's got a match on his hands. Lisowski leads 1-0. To get the better of Ronnie O'Sullivan this evening. Well, he started in that vein. What a clearance it was. A 1-2-8 break to get the first frame on the board, but there's a long way to go.
Wasn't easy, but the red is cuttable to the baulk corner. There's the trainers again. Good pot. But potted it just a little thick, and that's why the cue ball is where it is. You can pop the black to the middle, but I'm not sure if you can hold for a red. And if you played it at pace, to come for the reds that's to the right of the pink, it makes the black missable. Well, look at that for a shot. The black was tough, but to get position on the next red, great shot.
9.
I think he expected to come through the reds for the black. He can pot the pink. Here's the black again, and he had to play it at pace. Oh.
Jack Lisowski, 9.
Can't afford to miss those type of shots against O'Sullivan. Well, would you believe it? He was down on the shot a long time there.
What a tournament it's proving to be, by the way, for Alex Ursenbacher, who's playing Michael White on table 2 in the one remaining quarter-final. Swiss has made, as we see, another error from Lisowski. Swiss has made breaks of 55, 84 and 51. He's 3-0 up within 2 of the first ranking semi-final.
1.
Well, that was a great chance for Jack. It wasn't to give me the red along the cushion. But he's been in twice in this frame.
Eight. 9.
Well, he could try and play the cannon to the red above and to the right of the black. That leaves him on this red to the right corner.
Sorry. 16. $70. $24. $25.
Well, he could play the cannon to those three reds. I just played to come off the cushion for the red into the left corner. And this, again, is all about choice. Just depends if the red above the black goes to the left corner. He's having another look at this. It must be tight. Yeah, didn't take the risk.
32. $33.
Well, it must go. He played the cannon to the two reds to stay on this red.
40.
Played it with a touch
41.
of right-hand side on the cue ball. And that was to create the potting angle.
$48.
I don't think he can get back to the black, and pink is not as easy as it looks on TV. Could play up for the blue. Those 5 reds surrounding the pink spot could do with some attention.
49.
Although one of the reds will go to the left middle.
55. $56.
So it doesn't really need to go into them. If he plays for the red to the middle and takes a big colour from that red, Jack would need snookers, but he's gone into them and it's worked out very nicely. Awkward cueing, but we'd still expect him to pot this red. He needs a
64.
colour though. 55 points the difference. 59 left on the table. do with pushing a colour safe.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 64.
A good break from O'Sullivan. Not quite a frame-winning one.
Ah, the double kiss. It's probably sealed his fate in this frame.
One.
We saw the very best of Jack Lisowski in the first frame. In this one, we've seen a few errors, a couple of missed pots, safety mistake.
Six.
So it's going to be one apiece.
7. $13. 14. 20. 21. 27. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 27, and a frame.
The initial break of 64 from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and then mopping up what was necessary to equalise in our quarter-final here this evening at the English Open. It's one apiece. One apiece, helped by a break of 64 after the opening salvo of 128, a clearance from Jack Lisowski. The winner, of course, to play Anthony McGill in the semi-finals tomorrow. McGill having defeated Neil Robertson 5-3 earlier on today. Kyron Wilson awaiting the winner of the match on table 2 right now. Alex Ursenbacher playing Michael White. And the Swiss Ursenbacher 3-0 to the good and at the table, threatening to make it 4-0.
Tap on the table from O'Sullivan because he's got that cue ball behind the green. And this time hasn't quite got the cue ball where he wanted it. So, can you be tempted by this red? Because it looks like the cue ball is going to be going into the reds. So if he goes for this red, he'll have to get it. I think it's a wise choice to turn his nose up at this one. He's risking the frame if he takes this red on. For 1 point. No guarantee of being on a colour. But not a good safety. Caught the red too thick. Sullivan coming round to see if he screws the cue ball back a few inches, will he be on the black?
Confirmation that Ursenbacher has taken a 4-0 interval lead over Michael White. It's unusual.
Well, it wasn't easy. And I was surprised he didn't play it left-handed. Maybe he couldn't reach it. Had to bring the cue ball back a few inches. So we can forgive him for that one. And a chance for Jack. Just the wrong side of the blue. He would have liked to have got the blue back on its spot. Yeah, good shot. He's going to be on this red.
6. Seven.
Used all of the pocket, that red then. I thought he might have missed this.
$14. Jack Lisowski, 14.
And that's sometimes where he does slip up a little. This is a shot he should get. It's down to concentration. Can he see enough of this red? And there's the answer.
1.
Well, I could have played for any red there, but played for this one because it's stopping the black going in this pocket.
8. Nine.
Black now free to both pockets.
$16. $17.
Still got reds he could play for, but he could go into them here. Missed the red directly above the black. No, played the cannon and played it well. Nudged another red out, stayed on this red.
24.
The way in
25.
which O'Sullivan can manipulate that pack of reds is a lesson to any snooker player. He always seems to play the right shot, Joe.
Yeah, and a lot of the times there's 2 or 3
32.
shots that you can play, but somehow O'Sullivan manoeuvres the ball so that no matter a few shots, he's got them at his mercy. One more loose red. Now, if he could leave an angle on the black to play a cannon to the red directly above the black.
$41.
And that's just about right. So if he plays the cannon to the red above the black, that leaves him on the red to the right corner. Didn't catch it thick enough. Oh, as he left himself a plant.
48.
A little fortunate.
$49.
Powered the red in. And they like that one.
56.
Had his chance. Missed the red to the middle.
57.
Now he's got to hope that this cannon goes wrong. And it didn't.
64.
This is as awkward as it could have been. So playing the more difficult red.
These are missable, aren't they? Not easy to judge the angle. Extension on the cue as well to make it that little bit more awkward. But in it goes.
65.
Yeah, he's got to be one of the best recoverer of shots that I've ever seen. Just when you think you might have a chance, he knocks a difficult one in. And as you say, Philip, that was a tough shot.
72. 73.
Well, Jack Lisowski would have known ahead of this match that if he missed an easy one when he was in, if anything can be easy out there with the pressure as it is,
79.
he was almost certain to be punished to the full. And that's what's
80.
happened in this frame, and indeed in the one before.
Yeah, he's played really well, Jack. But the problem is he's missed easy balls. Hasn't gone for any crazy shots, it's just that
83.
he's missed the easy ones.
84.
Well, knocking that red off the cushion. It's kind of ensured it's going to get this century.
O'Sullivan very mindful of that 1,000 century break mark that,
91.
well, he's more than capable of achieving. He wants to get it done sooner rather than later. He's on 8.87 at the moment.
92.
Made 50 last season. 13 this so far.
$98. 100.
Terrific stuff for this crowd. It's every bit as good as we hoped it would be. A 128 from Lisowski in frame one. 64 from O'Sullivan in the second. And now this. And barely 11 minutes a frame. Tremendous entertainment.
Great positional shot from O'Sullivan. That was a tough round.
$112.
Well, Jack Lisowski might not
118.
agree, but it's great to see O'Sullivan cueing this sweetly again. He's been putting in a lot of work on the practice table, and you can see why. And you can see he's reaping the rewards of it. A 1-2-5 from the Rocket to move in front here in Barnsley. Great entertainment. 2-1 to him. Mission interval, an 888th career century for Ronnie O'Sullivan after Jack Lisowski had missed a relatively straightforward red to left centre to put the Rocket 2-1 in front.
Well, you can see this red down the right side and the one down the left side as well. But if the black doesn't go, it's not worth the risk. There's Liang Wenbo.
The maximum man, of course, £40,000 trousered for the 147, unless, of course, one of the remaining players can make another one, in which case you'd have to share it.
Well, is there any angle on this red? Jack coming down to see if the black goes. If it goes, no problem, but, well, there is a little bit of angle there, so he could play back for the blue. Yeah, good shot. And perfectly onto the blue.
Go on.
It's a big frame, isn't it? For Lisowski, you feel as though he needs to stay with O'Sullivan this evening if he is to have an opportunity to win.
Well, he'd like to play for the red behind the black. That frees the black into both pockets. But I don't think he can get to that red this time round. He holds his hands up because he's on the red, which could lead him to the black. Should lead him to the black.
7.
No, he's got enough loose reds to get himself 40 or 50 in front. There's a pot success, look. And that's why this match is so good. 94% to Lisowski, 92 to O'Sullivan.
15.
Wasn't sure how the cannon was going to turn out.
22.
Breaks. 125 for O'Sullivan, 128 for Lisowski.
$23.
Well, for a change, the big bounce off the cushion there helped him. Brought that cue ball away from the cushion. So if he plays the blue and there's two cushions, beyond two reds to the right of the pink. And that's probably as good as he could get.
28.
Average frame time is only 11 minutes. Average shot time,
29.
16 seconds for Lisowski, 17 for O'Sullivan.
$34. 35.
Nicely done, and he's left a nice angle on the black to be able to go into them. Quick check about any plants there. Doesn't want to knock a red in. He's been unfortunate. He could have been on something easier than this red
42.
to the left corner. Well, this is tough. It's going to be over the pocket if he misses it. He hasn't missed it, though. Good recovery.
43.
And perfectly on the blue to open the reds up. Just looking at how he wants to hit them. I think he's got to go for the blue. He was considering the yellow, then the red, then the blue again. But he's ideal on the blue here. That red came very close to the middle. And again, he's a little unfortunate here to be hampered over the red. Has a long straight red to the baulk corner, but it could have been so much easier. And it stayed out.
Jack Lisowski, 48.
It was a very good break to that point. That was a tough red. There was pressure on it, knowing again that he was missing. He was leaving O'Sullivan in.
It was unfortunate there, though, Philip, not to be on an easy red with such a good bust of the reds.
Couldn't have hit them much better, could he?
Probably expected to get the red he was playing on. But as you say, it was tough.
One.
And this becomes a big frame now. This would hurt Lisowski if O'Sullivan can recover from that 48-point deficit.
It's going to be interesting how he tackles those two reds on the left side of the table.
Eight.
One's near the cushion.
9. $16. 17. 24. 25.
Now, if he can play for the red that's near that baulk corner and leave the cue ball dead on the cushion, he might be able to bring the reds into play.
$30.
He's weighing up all his options. How does he bring those reds into play or drop in behind them?
$31.
Yeah, that would have been my favourite shot. Leave an angle on this red and
34.
try and play the cannon to the red nearest the cushion. Well,
35.
he'll be disappointed with that. Had he caught it full, he would have been on one of the baulk colours with the red free.
$42.
I think he played for the double there, but the kiss on the blue spoiled that choice of shot.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 42.
But he's right back in the frame.
Yeah, and look at the safety. Good safety shot. Or is it?
Didn't think twice about taking it on.
Well, had he got near it, he may not have left it so easy. He's just got to hope O'Sullivan can't knock the other red off the cushion. And it looks like he can from there. Caught it going forwards. He tried to get him behind the red. That would have been end of frame. So Lisowski's still got a life.
Five. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Just 1 point in it. Whoever gets the chance at the red, good chance of winning the frame. Nothing safe. Chance of the snooker here behind the pink. Send the red down towards the yellow. That's the safest option. Didn't put any side on the cue ball to check it. Tried to miss the yellow. Well, this could be worth a little attempt.
Frame is going to make such a big difference in terms of the possible outcome of this match. It will be a real boost for Lisowski to walk back to his dressing room, level pegging.
Anxious looks from O'Sullivan. So a half chance.
His long game has been impressive this week. O'Sullivan knocked in a couple of beauties against John Higgins when he was 3-2 behind. But he was a long way off with that one.
Yeah, that kiss on the brown may have tempted Ronnie O'Sullivan. Who's going to get a good pot on the red first? No, I'm surprised he didn't take that one on, but he's played a cracking shot. I've got to be careful of the free ball here. Well hit. And now balls have gone on the cushion, brown on the cushion, yellow on the cushion.
Someone getting excited on table 2. I think Alex. Let's have a look, because Alex Ersenbacher, well, what a tournament he's having. What a talent as well, what a prospect. Well, it wasn't the come on from Ersenbacher, but a little clench of the fist, because he's about to whitewash Michael White for his first ranking semi-final appearance.
Well, this is another chance, but it's a very, very tough pot. And it's absolutely straight, so difficult to get to a colour.
So we know 3 of our quarter-finalists now. Kyron Wilson against Alex Ersenbacher, sorry, semi-finalists. And, of course, Anthony McGill plays the winner of this one. And what a pot that is from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
1.
Still got a bit to do, though.
Well, that's an important point, that, because if he pots the black, it means Lisowski needs the pink. Attempted to play the cannon to the yellow.
Yeah. 8.
Worth another look.
Yeah. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8.
Well, he does well to hit the ball that thin. You've got to risk missing the ball to play that kind of shot. Brilliant pot. Absolutely brilliant. Digging down into the cue ball to screw across for the green. Difficult to get to the brown, though. Could leave a double.
Five.
Attempted to bring the brown out into play. This is tough down the cushion. So tough. Not sure if he'd want to take it on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Just short of pace for the snooker.
So O'Sullivan needs brown and blue in this all-important 4th frame before the interval.
This is going to be close. And that's exactly what he played. Great safety shot. Had to get it.
Foul, and this. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Miscalled. But this brown is potable.
Yes, and he only needs the brown now with that foul to put him 20 in front with 18 left.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Well, it was a great snooker that he laid, wasn't it? And it looks as though it might have won in this frame.
This is a good attempt. Where's this blue going?
A vitally important frame.
5.
By a mile, the longest of this very entertaining mini session. And it's gone the way of Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5. And the frame.
Lisowski started like a train with a brilliant clearance of 128, but Ronnie O'Sullivan has dominated since then, breaks of 64 and 125, and he's won that tactical fourth to move 3-1 up at the interval. And that, of course, would tie him once again with John Higgins in joint second place behind the great Stephen Hendry,
Frame 5. Ronnie O'Sullivan,
who's still out on his own on 36. It's been tremendous entertainment for this crowd in Barnsley. Every bit as good as we thought it might be. And Lisowski has played his part in that sensational break to start with. Just 1 or 2 potting errors proved so expensive, and that is the case with O'Sullivan. You leave him in with reds open, it's normally curtains. But what a big frame that was just before the interval. The only thing we've had that's been remotely resembling a scrappy frame, it wasn't really. And it was a tremendous snooker, wasn't it, Neil, that set up the frame for O'Sullivan and this 2-frame cushion rather than parity.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is that you can make all the centuries, and both of these two players have done that tonight, but you know, it's the frames that should go one way and then that goes the other, probably decides a match of this kind. Jack will be disappointed, but the 15 minutes of, with any luck, will have refreshed him. It is a difficult match for him, not only because Ronnie is Ronnie, but because he plays his own game. He's an attacking player himself. Anyway, that was not the best of safety shots from Ronnie O'Sullivan. His left-hand side, which was check side. Jack's got his hand on the table here. And with black available, so he's to come out roaring like he did at the start of this evening's match. Now they're back in action in the second half.
6. 7.
'Nice cannon. One that you always felt he would get.
14.
Just what he needed, the first opportunity.
Goodness me.
15.
Talk about dead weight.
I took my eye off it, actually. I always thought it would drop, but it only just, the last roll got it home.
Well, that would have been calamity.
22. 23. 30.
He's a very
31.
fluent player. I think another thing saying it's too early to write him off here, because I wouldn't be, but he's making a mocker of his ranking of
38.
55, because not only is he playing well, competing, you can see the ease in which he plays the game.
39.
So that's for him to address. He's at least a 32 player, maybe even better. But we've been saying that for years. That looks like it wouldn't reach.
Jack Lisowski.
It's on its way
39.
towards the near jaw throughout. At least he's blocked the pocket, but that's very much second prize. Talking of the rankings briefly, Alex Ursenbacher, he's had £20,000, put up 16 places in the rankings from 91. He's on the up. He's sure to go only one way over the next 18 months. What I've seen over the last 5 days here. And of course he could go further yet. We don't know how far this run's going to go of his. Well, this is one of these frames, and I mean, obviously these two are most attacking players, but you know, it's not impossible for all the reds to end up over the top of the black, because it's got that pattern about it. I think Ronnie would do everything he could to avoid that, and so would Jack. Oh dear, he hit the wrong red there, I'm sure he did. Sure he played to pot a red to the left corner, but hit a red on the way through. Pretty calamitous error.
One. Eight.
So Jack got in first, but didn't quite get enough on the board. It's not impossible, of course. Ronnie could go past his 39 break here and now. Some awkward reds, actually, which will follow. Not yet.
$14. $15.
Well, he's got a red, 2 down on the left there, one nearest to his cue now that he can get on, and it opens up 1 or 2 others. Although, has he gone too far for it? He may have done. I don't see why he had to go that far up the table. He's overcooked that.
22.
Yeah, the left-hand red of those would have been the one. He's faced with a plant, which is a difficult plant. He's made to look like it was over the pocket.
I mean, that's ridiculous, really, isn't it?
23.
There's a bit of space between those reds.
Yeah, and they weren't exactly lined up for the pocket either. I'm sure it wasn't one straight onto another in a direct line. Blue's interesting. It would take him off the cushion, I think, into certainly one of those reds. But it's a cueing shot, which has got to be given his full care and attention. But I think it's heading towards the reds off the cushion. Yeah.
28.
There was always an element of doubt as to what would be the result of it, though. Didn't really have any choice but to try his luck. So a bit of a reprieve for Lisowski there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 28.
His lead shaved to just 11 points. Still 67 on the table.
Well, he's was only able to stick the one ball, and he's half left it on. What if he's thinking of screwing into the other reds here? Be a very attacking shot. Well, I think he played it. I think he played it, and I understand why. But the most important thing for now is that the pot went in, I guess. And, I mean, he could tickle up behind the colour, but it's... You don't feel it's going to lead to a lot. This shot is a big one, though. Well, I don't know what he played. I mean, he's obviously tried to can the other red out, but I thought in the end he was a bit half-heartedly going after that one. Options were slightly thin on the ground. The roll-up would have... Ronnie would have got out of that, I think.
The thing about O'Sullivan this evening, we've seen it so often is that when he has run out of position or the break has come to a premature end, he's always come up with a really good safety.
Yeah, I think he's just left a little way to get to the edge of this with a tiny bit of swerve. Yeah, just a trace of left-hand side. He'll probably get to it anyway, but not much of it. Oh, Jack will happy having some of this long red. Once again, he surprises me. Funny player, isn't he? I mean, he's gone for that long blue 2 or 3 shots ago, kind of fairly aimlessly. Okay, missed it, and he missed any kind of cannon. He does slip in the odd containing shot, as we saw there.
And it felt as though that one was possibly worth the risk with the other 3 reds tied up. It wasn't as though he was leaving O'Sullivan the game if he missed it.
All of a sudden, after that shot, it looks a tactical frame. Possibly the second in a row. The one before the interval went that way. The red up into the top left. It's possible, it's difficult. And I guess if he played safe off the other red, he'd have to leave it anyway for Ronnie, so he might as well play it himself.
It's hard to imagine Lisowski winning 4 frames on the bounce against an informed O'Sullivan. But this is a vital frame.
One.
Yes, it certainly feels that way, doesn't it? Now the question is, can he get through past the green to the blue? It must be very, very tight. Yeah. Well, that angle showed us how difficult it was, to be sure, either way. And Ronnie decides it's too difficult to tell.
Five. Six. Thirteen.
Well, there's an argument that he hasn't got a plan of colour here if he doesn't think he can get on one comfortably. It's hard to get away from that right-hand side cushion here with the angle he's got. He's felt
40.
that he couldn't really do a lot with it. Now, Ronnie, considering refusing the black here, just thinking about it. That's him using his wealth of experience.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 14.
Not the most impossible snooker to hit by any means, and there could be just a little sliver of the red sticking out. But even then, there was no value in the black, and as I say, we know what a dazzling attacking player he is, but occasionally you have to just draw stumps on that and play something different. Could be in more trouble here. Naturally, it looks in behind blue as a possibility. Fine shot.
Yeah, we're seeing the full arsenal of Ronnie O'Sullivan's skills this evening. Break building, but also the tactical nous. And striking the balance between attack and defence.
This red is annoyingly far enough off the cushion to go around the back of it. Hit it well.
It was tough, wasn't it? Good hit, but trusting to luck as to where it landed.
Yeah, no need for Ronnie to worry about the pink because he'd put enough balls before then, so by then Jack Lisowski will need a snooker. So a couple of very subtle safety shots on the last red.
8.
May have paid dividends.
Yeah, that was slightly careless by O'Sullivan's standards, though. He's just the wrong side of the yellow there, I think.
Yeah, it means you can't get near to the green, but he still has a shot. He likes to get a little closer than this.
Let
He checked the scoreboard, didn't he? And this is actually frame ball, doesn't even need the blue.
But he is on the stretch. Very close indeed to the pink. But in goes the brown.
17.
Well, it was a magnificent snooker in the frame before the mid-session interval that won O'Sullivan a tight frame, and he's used his tactical abilities in this one to put him in the box seat. Playing a couple of tough snookers.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
And
17.
again, Jack Lisowski comes to the table needing a snooker to avoid going 3 down with 4 to play.
It's very difficult to imagine how he could win this frame. Pink's not really helping where it is. They're getting snookers. So he's probably got one good go at this, which is usually the case when it comes down to pink and black on the table, because he doesn't get the snooker, Ronnie will roll it in or over the pocket.
Jack Lisowski,
That's
5.
not the answer. That's what I'm saying. Happy to do that. As good as impossible to get a snooker from there.
Anthony McGill, remember, awaits the winner after his fine victory over Neil Robertson earlier. 5-3, having been behind 3 times.
Surely this time he just puts it over the pocket here, in or over, down the bottom.
Foul.
Goodness. Well, that ends the
6 and
frame for
Ronnie
sure.
O'Sullivan.
Lisowski missing the pink altogether. And Ronnie O'Sullivan marches on, just a frame away now, the Rocket, from a place in yet another major semi-final. He leads Jack Lisowski by 4 frames to 1. With frame, but once again evidence of the many strings to Ronnie O'Sullivan's bow. Some fine tactical stuff at the back end of it, laying the snookers he needed to force the error and get over the line to put him in the most commanding of positions. 4-1 up, just 1 frame away from the English Open semi-finals. Lisowski hasn't played poorly this evening by any stretch. Started the match superbly with the total clearance of 128. Just 1 or 2 missed pots that he will reflect on.
Well, the double kiss has put distance between cue ball and object ball at least. Very close to it. He was trying to hold for the black, so you can see why he missed it in the way that he did.
One.
Nicely cued. He really gets through the ball well. I know that sounds an easy thing just to say, but when the cue goes through the ball, it gets right past hitting it. You see a good 6-8 inches still accelerating after he's hit it, which means he's got time with the ball and his cue action's very solid. And that was a lovely shot.
6.
Here we are. One of his right-handers. Seems to be very happy to play shots with his right hand. Doesn't get them all.
1 or 2 potentially very expensive errors against Judd Trump. In the end, of course, he came through.
Seven. $14. 15.
Didn't hit that one very well. He would never have played on the red to the middle, I would say.
22.
I think he played on the two below that. Anyway, doesn't matter.
23.
He was not under the most immaculate of control at the moment.
$28.
Lisowski just
29.
examining his tip there, so perhaps he's taken a little chunk out of it. Or there's something that's causing him some concern in that regard.
$35. $36. $42. $43. Okay.
Well, that bottom red is still available pretty short to the left corner. And I'm sure, I'd say he played on it quite a few shots ago. He's got the other one up the table anyway.
$50.
And he's staving it for a bit longer.
51.
I think he's got the best angle though on the black. That sort of just off straight high angle. Yeah, that's always one of the worst for getting back to a red above where he is now. So plan B, on the same red in the opposite corner.
58. $59.
Getting towards the winning line in this must-win frame. A red in any colour
66.
should suffice. Wow. I mean, that shot at that pace
Jack Lisowski, 66.
seemed somewhat reckless.
Well, it's the angle, isn't it, that he's coming into the pocket at, Philip. It's fairly acute, and there's only so much speed you can put into a shot like that before the pocket just won't accept it. I think he might have just flicked the near jaw, which was curtains for that one. Shot of Ronnie's was not a good one there either. So, Lisowski very quickly back at the table. And same equation, isn't it? Red to colour.
Yeah, he got away with it, didn't he? But perhaps that's the sort of shot that when he does the debrief, he looks at and thinks, well, maybe that wasn't the smartest way to play that red. No matter now, though.
4.
He's going to close the gap to 4-2.
35. $12. 13. 20. 21.
Well, the same number of balls potted, but O'Sullivan still firmly in control as regards the frame score.
26.
Yeah, I think that
27.
stat basically tells us that Ronnie's won a couple of the close frames. The two that Jack has won, he's won with big breaks and big scoring. Both frames
34.
to nil.
$35. 41. 43. 46. 50. 55.
Again, just displaying even to the man in the chair what a good player he is, what he's capable of doing. Stacks of talent,
61
wins in the frame.
Jack Lisowski.
Yes, a couple of big breaks there from Jack Lisowski to keep his hopes alive. He's still got a lot to do to turn this match in his favour, but he's still hanging in there at 4-2 adrift. And a meeting with Anthony McGill. 4 straight frames from the rocket, but the rock was stopped by Jack Lisowski courtesy of that brace of 60-plus breaks, although he might have paid the price for going for somewhat extravagant power shot into barely half a pocket when he hadn't quite clinched the frame when he was on 66 in the event O'Sullivan missed the red, and Lisowski then cleared the table to the pink. So 4-2. And if he can win this one, well, who knows?
Yes, that was a pretty good safety shot. The red was always a possible obstacle on the right, but he went round it as played. Unfortunately, he would bounce quite heavily off the cushion. And it's given Ronnie a tempter here. Just passes the other red. And there's another acute angle to the middle bag. There isn't a lot of pocket sticking out from where the red is. Good shot.
Four.
Well, it wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. He's been potting a lot of those this week. It's His long putting tonight has not been as good, though, as it's been in previous rounds. In fact, just 2 out of 9, 22% if you prefer. But you've got to pot those when you're 4-2 down against Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yes, Ronnie was out of his chair very quickly there.
One. Eight.
Well, again, plenty of options.
Nine.
Very few do it better when they're in amongst them at the black end of the table. But it's a bit of thinking to be done. It's a little bit grouped up in the middle.
16. 17. 23. 24. 31. 32.
Well, that was a fairly basic shot for him. Well, there's certainly been a inner steel about O'Sullivan this
39.
week. A lot of people have commented on how well he's not only been playing, but how he's been
40.
approaching these matches. The match against John Higgins last night was a classic. Two of the greats of all time. Coin flip over the years between them. Here it's a very different sort of examination
47.
for him, playing someone who is attacking, and if I'm honest, the difference on that shot had been
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
the
47.
way that Ronnie had made a few safety shots here or there. Very surprised he missed this. I think he tried to nick the pocket a bit.
An unexpected reprieve for Lisowski.
Yes, he tapped the table. He's quite angry about that. He wants to be winning these frames in one visit.
Yeah, I think that victory over Higgins and the manner of it, coming from behind with some really top-class snooker, would have been a very significant one for O'Sullivan. He has huge respect for Higgins, we know that. Measures himself by his matches against the Wizard as Lisowski just catches the jaw. And he'd come off second best in recent meetings with John Higgins, so I think he'd have taken a lot from that. He's still got some work to do to finish Jack Lisowski off tonight.
a bit of a nothing shot, but it's hard to work out what to do there. And again, we're seeing tactical play, and so far Ronnie O'Sullivan has been in charge of all that in this match. 2 runaway frame wins have been for this man. He's way ahead on the points scored. I say way ahead, he's not now, but he's been balls potted and all of that's been right up there. The stats don't really add up to the 4-2 scoreline. Well, it's a brilliant shot, and also, if you look at the table, you see he didn't leave anything on, except possibly the red that he was playing had he missed it. And he looked, and it seems the top red of the 3's on.
8. Nine.
52 the lead, still 75 on the table. So one good pot on this pink. You'd think the end is nigh. What a lovely shot that was as well.
15.
Still a bit to do. And he's missed that. Yeah, there was a bit of distance
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
between
15.
cue ball and red. Yes, he'd normally get it, but they're missable, even if you're Ronnie O'Sullivan.
He's very annoyed, isn't he, about missing that. He doesn't really want to be taking 2 to 3, 4 chances to win a match. You see the disappointment in his face. He knows he's got his man down. He hasn't finished him off there. But it goes unpunished.
Jack Lisowski's hopes of a first-ranking semi-final hanging by the proverbial thread here. Hasn't played a bad match by any stretch of the imagination. It takes something pretty special to deny Ronnie O'Sullivan over 9 frames when he's playing as well as he is right now. Even if it's not been the perfect performance, it's still been a very impressive one from that man.
No, he's got no shot here. Average shot time in the match is 18 seconds for both players, but he's taken a minute here. Just flicked the feather on the way through, but it's not bad. Well, part of the shot was to get the cue ball back down the table. Well, there didn't seem to be a lot of room to play with there, but
One.
I mean, they had to make sure he didn't go into the red just next to it, and it's a crunching double. Ah, dear. What a pity.
Jack Lisowski, 1.
That might be his last shot. Shame after the red.
Put him 57, 58 in front. So that yellow. Frame ball, match ball, barring Snooker's
3. Four.
And it's just been about a handful of pots this evening for Jack Lisowski, hasn't it? That being an example of one that he'd normally get. Missed a couple before the interval that proved very costly. He's played his part in this match and it's been fun to watch.
7. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 7.
64
Frame on
the
the
difference. 51 on the table. A handshake from two players who've spent a lot of time with each other on the practice table. Their first match meeting, and ultimately O'Sullivan's greater nous, greater all-round game has got it done. Jack Lisowski has enormous potential, which must be harnessed now in the weeks and months ahead. But it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who's through to the semi-finals by 5 frames to 2. And he will play Anthony McGill in the last 4.